Despite being financially outgunned by its nearby rivals, Iran is a major military power in the Middle East. But how strong is Iran's military? Iran's population of 82 million means that it can draw on a deep well of manpower. The Shiite Islamic Republic has an estimated 534,000 active personnel and 400,000 in reserve. However, Iran's defense budget of $8 billion is minuscule in comparison to those of countries it is most likely to come into conflict with. Israel's $18.5 billion or Saudi Arabia's $76.7 billion. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is Iran's elite military force responsible for protecting the nation from internal and external threats. A key player inside the country, the U.S. has accused the IRGC of being a terror organization because of its military support of foreign Shiite groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. A 4-decade-long U.S. arms embargo and UN arms restrictions since 2006 has forced Iran to rely largely on the domestic production of weaponry. Meanwhile, Iran's regional rivals have been supplied cutting-edge Western military systems. They have announced the local development of 800 Karar advanced battle tanks that will strengthen their ground armored forces composed of more than 2,500 tanks. Despite its increasing age, Iran's air force has been deployed numerous times in the recent conflict against ISIS. Its fleet is mainly composed of F-4 Phantom II and F-14 Tomcat fighters, supported by MiG-29 multi-role fighters to deter any aerial conflict. It has been reported that Iran is one of the 5 countries that has a cyber army capable of conducting cyber warfare operations and is considered as one of the leading cyberspace adversaries of the U.S. Iran's focus on cyberspace is part of a bigger strategy of asymmetrical warfare, which the country sees as the most effective way of inflicting damage on an enemy with military and technological superiority. Another form of deterrence is its threat to bring the global economy to a standstill by shutting down the flow of oil that passes through the Strait of Hormuz between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. In the event of a conflict, Tehran's strategy would be to block the choke point through mines and swarm enemy warships with small, low-cost watercraft and speedboats armed with torpedoes. In addition, Iran has 3 Russian-built Kilo-class submarines patrolling the Persian Gulf. But Iran's main deterrence remains its short, medium, and intermediate-range ballistic missiles, capable of hitting Israel, Gulf Arab states, U.S. military bases in the region, and parts of Europe. In 2015, a nuclear deal was struck between Iran and the permanent members of the United Nations. Before the deal, Iran had a uranium stockpile that was big enough to produce 10 nuclear bombs. The agreement reached would see Tehran shrink the stockpile by 98%, in return for the lifting of crippling economic sanctions. But in May 2018, President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. was leaving the deal, with Washington reimposing sanctions on Tehran. Despite continuing tensions with both the U.S. and its powerful regional rivals, the proxy wars waged in nearby Syria and Yemen show that Iran's military influence has continued to grow in the Middle East.